Did you enjoy The Walking Dead when it was actually a good show? Or perhaps you're just a really big zombie fan? Or maybe you like all survival games? If that's the case, you have probably heard of DayZ before. Now, DayZ is one of the most played open world survival games ever made. But is DayZ actually worth playing? Let's find out. So DayZ is an open world survival zombie apocalypse game. It is your job to combat the elements, the zombies, and other players while trying to survive. I can already tell you now that DayZ is a very unforgiving game. It is not a game you pick up, play for 2 hours, and you know all the mechanics. It is far from that. It does not hold your hand, it does not show tutorials, it does not tell you how to do anything in the game. It is your job to find out and experiment on your own. So that being said, you can either play it on the official or on the modded servers. And these can change your gameplay entirely depending on what you choose. So we start off by looking at the official DayZ servers. This is the basic mechanics of the game. You need to survive the zombie apocalypse. You do this by finding food, finding shelter, finding clothes, and finding guns and weapons. Early game, you gotta find clothes or you'll get sick and you will die. Run into a zombie without a weapon, you will also die. Meet another player that has tons of gear, you will also die. Early game, everything will kill you. But the more and more you play, the more mechanics, the more combat you have, the more experience with the game you have, you will become better and you will know how things work. And therefore, the better your chances are for surviving. Now, that being said, I actually really enjoy DayZ. I think it is a fantastic game, but there are of course some issues. Now, one of the best things about DayZ is the variety of content. There will be something for every player to do, whether or not if that is in the base game, so in the official service, or with the modded game community. So in the base game of DayZ, it can be very difficult as a new player. You'll have no idea where you are, the map is difficult to read, the road signs are in Russian, so you can't find your friends because you have no way of telling them where you are. The map is enormous, it can take up to 45 minutes to run across the map. Now, the modded service can change everything about this. They can add an in-game map that is way better. You can add several spawn points so you can choose where you want to spawn. You can add traders, you can choose to buy certain weapons and ammo, because those will be very difficult to find in the base game. There are also some mods that give you infinite stamina, so it's way faster to run or find your friends. So the mods on PC can help you find your exact needs and fit your playstyle exactly. Whether if you want to do hardcore survival, PvE, PvP, deathmatch servers, whatever you feel like, there will be a mod for it. But some of the best things about DayZ is how immersive it is. The sound effects, the visuals, everything about it is very realistic and immersive, especially the mechanics of hunger, temperatures, etc. It is a horrifying game to play, but in a good way. Now, the base game is truly unforgiving, and even with hundreds if not thousands of hours of playtime, you will still die to the base mechanics of the game. There's a known term amongst DayZ players that reads, DayZ does not hold your hand, which is an indicator of how unforgiving DayZ can be, and that is absolutely true. And this also ties into the multiplayer aspect. So like I said before, the map is enormous, it can take up to 45 minutes to cover it from one end to the other. So as a new player, it will be very difficult to find your friends at first. However, this also gives you a ton of playtime for exploring the game. So you can get hundreds of hours of just exploring the game by itself. But where DayZ thrives is the interaction with other players. From official to community service, you cannot recreate the interactions in any other game. That is both in one-on-one random encounters to week-long wars with factions. Now let's talk about some of the cons of the game. Now, the base game has quite a few issues. The map is not very useful at all, especially if you can't read Russian. There is a massively steep learning curve, so a new player might not enjoy themselves for quite a few hours when you're first starting out. And also, the base building is terrible. Now, of course, modded servers can help with some of these issues, but these are some of the things to be aware of if you are considering buying DayZ. However, the graphics are really good, the sound design is also amazing, and can be deeply terrifying at times. And with the ability to mod the game entirely, there is something for every player. Now, some of the things to be aware of is that there is quite a bit of buggy gameplay, especially with the AI. Stuff like the wolves and zombies will often bug out. They will teleport randomly through walls. There'll be some weird mechanics with the hitboxes. And there's also a lot of running in the game. It is kind of a running simulator, especially on the official servers. And as a new player and you have no idea where you're going. Also, there are a lot of cheaters in the game that will just shoot you without you ever seeing them, which is one of the things that annoys me the most, is the amount of cheaters. Now, as a new player, there are no tutorials. It is a steep learning curve. It will take time and research to figure out how to craft, how to combat mechanics like red clothes, and figure out where things are. You will have no idea where you are. Everything is in Russian. It might be difficult for you to find your friends early as you have no idea what the road signs say. And just as a side note, there is a saying in DayZ called no mic, no life. So I'd highly advise you have a working microphone, otherwise other players will just shoot you. Will shoot you more than normal. Now, that being said, DayZ is a good game. There are some obvious bugs and they can be quite annoying with the cheaters. I'm sort of hesitant to recommend it for consoles since you can't mod your game as you want to, since mods can help you a lot in early game once you figure out what mechanics you like and what you don't like. When you first buy the game, it will definitely be a struggle, and you will feel the pain of finally getting good, decent loot, and then being sniped by another player and losing hours of progress. So if you're looking for a simple game you can pick up and start playing and knowing all the mechanics straight away, DayZ is not for you, as it will most likely take several weeks of research, exploring, and in gameplay to understand the mechanics of how everything works. But the struggle is well worth it later on. You will get some of the best gaming experiences of your life later on in DayZ. The adrenaline of being in a duel with another player is incredible. You will start off by trying to snipe each other and somehow end up in a melee fight to the death hours later on as you both run out of ammo. And this also ties into the interaction with other players. Whether it's negative or positive, it will fuel your desire to keep playing the game. And some of the bonding you will get with random players is phenomenal. You will meet a dark, handsome stranger in the middle of the night, and before you know it, you're fighting off zombies and you've just made a friend for life. Or he'll betray you, shoot in the back, and steal your loot. It's a 50-50 chance. But in conclusion, DayZ is a survival game with some pretty hardcore mechanics. It is a truly unique game, but if you're up for the challenge and the struggles of the early game, the game will absolutely pay off later on, and it's definitely worth the money and time. If you found this video useful, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Also check out the channel for tons of other game reviews. Click the video on the screen now, as I think you'll also really enjoy that one, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.